I've been playing a bit of this game called Xdefiant recently. It's basically old school Call of Duty with no skill-based matchmaking, connection is prioritized. And I've been having a lot of fun with it. But there's a lot of people out there who are trashing the game because, to put it quite blunt, they're not good at it. And that's the exact situation we're taking a look at today. There's a guy who just trashes Xdefiant because he's bad. I don't know how else to put it. And there's nothing wrong with being bad at a game. I'm terrible at CSGO and Ultra Kill. I don't care, dude. I just play for fun. I'm not gonna sit there and get all upset if someone calls me trash either. Like people have in the comments, I'm like, yep, I agree. I am garbage at Ultra Kill. But because this guy is bad at Xdefiant, instead of blaming himself, he calls the game bad. So let's get into it.
What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be reviewing Xdefiant. This game is, quite frankly, one of the worst shooters I have played in the last 5 years.
What? One of the worst shooters to come out in the past 5 years? It's one of the better ones and it's completely free. Unlike Call of Duty Vanguard or other shitty shooters out there. And the thing is with this game that's different than, let's say, Call of Duty is the developers actually listen to player feedback. You'll see Mark Rubin on Twitter, which is a creator of this game, and you'll actually listen to what people want in this game, whereas Call of Duty just fucks off and adds a bunch of bullshit.
This is awful. Let me get into it. Let me list off the positives of this game before we really get into the large amount of negatives that this game entails. For one, the game looks good. It's a pretty decent looking game. It's nothing spectacular, but it suffices. No skill-based matchmaking, a big plus. Granted, now that the game just released quite literally today, it is very sweaty. Even if you're a new player to FPSs, it is a very sweaty game as of right now. But other than that, once, people leave the game, it's gonna cool down. It's only 30 gigabytes as well. It's very accessible. It's not a large download either. It's free to play. Take that as you will.
So let's compare that to its competitor, Call of Duty. The graphics, I'd say, are good on both games. The performance is good on both games. I'd say it's better on Xdefiant. You can see here I'm playing at 244 FPS, and I'm not even getting any frame drops. And on consoles, even the Series S, it runs at basically a locked 120 FPS. This game has no skill-based matchmaking, and Call of Duty has skill-based matchmaking. Skill-based matchmaking basically means you're put up against people of equal skill all the time, which takes all variety of the matchmaking out of the game. Also in Call of Duty, it prioritizes skill over connection, giving you laggy lobbies. Xdefiant does not do this. And the funny part about this is Call of Duty is $70, whereas this game, which I would say is a better experience, is free.
But for the most part, I see it as a positive. That's really all I have to say for the positives. Let's get on to the large amount of negatives. Number one, the maps. Maps are awful. I think one of the worst maps I've ever played in my life in a first-person shooter was the one you're seeing in this video right now called Libertad or Liberty or whatever.
My brother in Christ, did you ever play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2022? One of the maps is literally just a bunch of cars, flung around. How about Piccadilly from Modern Warfare 2019? I'd rather honestly sit on a cactus than play that map. I'd say the maps in Xdefiant are good to average. The maps in the game, there's no real, absolute dog shit maps.
It's a terrible map. It has absolutely no flow. Spawns are fucked. Assuming they'll fix that later, but as of right now on launch, it is terrible. Another thing that is awful, the guns. The guns feel like absolute shit. They feel very inconsistent. Sometimes you'll feel like you'll absolutely melt somebody, and then next time you're getting absolutely dookied on. It's just very inconsistent. Along with the gunplay that goes hand in hand with the guns. TTK feels very, very long.
The time to kill is long for a reason. It means there's more skilled gunfights. It's not just whoever shoots first wins the gunfight. You actually have to hit your shots if you want to get kills, and you have to make sure you're aiming for headshots.
When you're shooting at somebody, let's say, as soon as they decide to shoot at you, it feels like they absolutely shit on you. I don't know if it's just the on-screen effects as you're getting shot, but it's just very distracting. The recoil on the weapons is pretty significant.
The reason why people might melt you a lot faster than you kill them is because they're hitting headshots and you aren't. As for the recoil, it's good that there's a lot of recoil because that creates a skill gap between those that can control the recoil and those that can't. An issue I started having with recent Call of Duty games is you can make any single weapon just a laser beam and it basically takes no skill to control. but this game you have to control that recoil.
A lot of visual and horizontal and vertical recoil just makes your shots a lot harder to hit. I know, boo-hoo, this guy's complaining about fucking recoil in a first-person shooter.
Once again, it's important to have things like recoil in your game so it rewards those who can master it and gives them an advantage over those that can't. It rewards those who put the time in to learn the recoil patterns. Those who put time into a game should be rewarded. That's why I like games like Dark Souls.
But for a slow-firing DMR, you really shouldn't be kicking very hard. The DMR is meta, by the way, the Mark 20. If you ever plan on playing Xdefiant, at least as of right now, as of the release date, just use that. It's a quite literal 2-tap to the body. You really don't need to put any effort into killing somebody. Snipers are also very effective. TTK feels very long in this game, even though you only have 100 health. So snipers kind of mitigate that by being able to one-shot people. It's just like Call of Duty, but it feels very bad. The only thing I can compare this game to is like Combat Master. Really shitty free-to-play mobile game that was ported to PC. That's what it feels like.
No, let me tell you what I think this game feels like. Black Ops 4, but like better. I kinda liked Black Ops 4, I felt like the abilities were a little too overpowered, but in this game they're not as like insanely overpowered like Black Ops 4's was. But when it comes to time to kill, this game is just like Black Ops 4, it takes a lot of gun skill, and that's what I really liked about Black Ops 4. A lot of people are coming over to this game thinking it's gonna be like Modern Warfare where they can get 1 or 2 shots on an enemy and kill them and not have to have all that much gun skill, but that's not the case. If you want to get good at this game, you have to learn to control your recoil, hit your shots, learn the maps, and I like that. I like that this game rewards good players, because it feels like with a lot of games recently, it kind of punishes good players by putting them in laggy lobbies with skill-based matchmaking.
The movement, which I'm about to get into right now, is very floaty. You don't feel like you're an actual soldier.
I mean, if you want to be like a real soldier, why don't you just join the goddamn army? I remember people saying the same shit with Call of Duty. It needs to be more realistic. Man, if you want realism in like a shooter game, join the fucking Marine Corps.
You feel like you're kind of just a dude with ice skates on an ice rink. You know what I mean? Just skating around. Feel very floaty, and that goes as well with the aiming. It feels very floaty. Before I managed to get into this game, the servers absolutely shit itself, and I couldn't find a game pretty much all day. So as of right now, I'd say avoid the game. There are multiple factions in this game that have multiple classes that I really do not enjoy. Like the fucking actual ESP wall hacks for the fucking Ghost Recon class guys. You can literally see you through walls.
Well, I mean, it's a special ability. Every single faction has a different special ability that it can utilize. You know, one character can use the see-through walls thing, and another character might have something else. Like, for example, the character I was playing as in the gameplay I had there, I was using the medical one that can basically heal herself whenever she gets shot by dropping this little bottle.
It's not an ultimate. Well, I guess some of it is an ultimate. But it's just an E ability. You press it and you get free wall hacks. It's not like it has a range similar to like Pake's wall hacks from fucking Battlefield 2042, where like it's only useful for like 4 feet away. No, you can see people pretty far down hallways just completely painted through walls. It's not a fun experience. It's not very balanced and thought out either. Overall, it's just a very mediocre to bad experience. Xdefiant in its current state is not worth playing. Gunplay is absolutely terrible. Maps are even worse. Like I said, the only positives are skill-based matchmaking and the absolute lack of it. Even as of right now on launch, all of the sweats are playing because it's popular and it just came out.
From my experience with this game, I didn't run into all that many people sweating. It was a pretty fun, casual experience with no skill-based matchmaking and connection prioritized. You aren't always gonna do well in every single lobby. Sometimes you're gonna get into a lobby with players that are better than you. That doesn't mean they're sweating. A lot of people are coming over to this game because they're sick of skill-based matchmaking and they all think they're gonna do like extremely well or whatever, but you have to realize there's a lot of good players coming over to this game because Call of Duty punishes the good players.
You're going to be facing sweaty players with shitty mechanics, shitty guns. Oh, did I mention the hit registration? It's absolutely terrible. Almost none of it was fixed from the beta.
I don't know, the hit registration seems pretty decent to me, and even games like Black Ops 2 had bad hit registration. Like, Black Ops 2 had terrible hit registration, but everyone loved it anyway. I don't know, anyone here who regularly plays Xdefiant, let me know, is the hit registration bad or not?
From what I can feel, it just feels terrible. As of right now, this is a definite do not recommend. This is actually one of the worst competitive first-person shooters I've played in a long time. It really does feel like a really shitty free-to-play mobile game that was ported to PC. That's the best way I can describe it. Overall, I rate this game like a fucking 3 out of 10.
That is pretty much gonna wrap up this video. Xdefiant is a breath of fresh air because it actually takes skill to play, and there's no skill-based matchmaking, so good players can actually do good without worrying about being punished. Why pay $70 for Call of Duty when you can play this for free and get a better experience?